Hello and welcome to the Vedantist. So, in our last episode, we talked about installing a new operating system for your mind. We explored this idea that if you really want to grasp deep, absolute truth, you just can't rely on the everyday language we use to survive. You need a specific framework, a paribhasha. But having the right language is just step one. We shall, of course, keep using the paribhasha all across our podcasts. Now, we actually need to look at the blueprint of the knowledge itself. Think about it like this: if you're going to build a massive skyscraper, you don't just show up on day one and start pouring the concrete, is it? You draw a blueprint, you set the boundaries. Imagine you just bought a beautiful plot of land. If you just leave it completely open, what's going to happen? People will wander in, somewhat might start using it, and eventually you lose control of the space. Your energy and resources just drain away into the open field. So, before you build your house, what's the first thing you do? You build a compound wall. You draw a hard boundary. You define exactly what happens inside that space and what stays outside. The ancient sages were ultimate realists. Long before modern universities or peer reviewed journals even existed, they had this strict rule. They declared that any philosophy, any scripture, or any system of knowledge that wants to be taken seriously as a science has to be built has to build its compound wall first. It has to establish four unshakable conditions. If a science can't clearly answer these four things, they basically said, look, this is not a science. This is just someone's passing opinion. It's a distraction. In Sanskrit, these four foundational pillars are called the Anubandha Chatushtayam. Don't let the big word intimidate you. Chatushtayam simply means a set of four, and Anubandham refers to the binding conditions. The interplay between these four. Basically, these are the four questions you absolutely must answer before you dedicate your time, your money, or your life to any pursuit. Let's break down these four pillars into simple English. First, you have Vishayam, the what. This is the subject matter. Every legitimate science has a highly specific scope. Let's say you go to medical school. The Vishayam is the human body and the diseases of the human body. Of course, you are not there to study how to fix a car engine. The subject matter has to be clearly defined so your mind doesn't wander off into irrelevant territories. It's the exact data you're dealing with. This is the what. Second is the adhikari, the who. This defines who is the qualified student eligible for the subject matter. Now, let's be real. Is every type of knowledge meant for absolutely everybody? No. If you want to study advanced astrophysics but you refuse to learn basic math, you are not the adhikari for astrophysics. You lack the eligibility. To pursue anything great, a medical degree, building a startup, or maybe learning a martial art, you need a specific temperament, a specific set of skills beforehand, and a specific hunger. The adhikari is the who that matches the what. Third is the prayojanam, the why. This is the purpose or the result. In modern business, before you launch a project, what's the first thing you ask? You ask, what's the ROI? What's the return on investment? That's the prayojanam. And why are we even doing this? If you go to a medical school, the why is to become a doctor and save lives. It's the ultimate objective of the pursuit. If a discipline doesn't have a clear beneficial result, it is just a waste of human energy. You have to know the why before you start. You have to answer, why am I doing this, before you start any of the pursuit. And fourth is sambandham, the how. So, you have the subject matter, the what, the qualified student, the who, and the ultimate goal of that pursuit, the why. The fourth pillar is the bridge that connects them all. Sambandham is the methodology or the interplay between all the other three pillars. It's the roadmap, the daily curriculum, the actual practice. It's the logical bridge that takes the qualified student, guides them through the subject matter, and lands them safely at the final result. That's the how. Vishayam, Adhikari, Prayojanam, and Sambandham. The what, the who, the why, and the how. Just look at how perfectly these four pillars play out in our modern lives. Think about a time when you really failed at something, or when a project just brought you endless stress and misery. I am sure if you look closely, one of these four pillars was missing, or maybe broken. And here is the crucial part. If even a single pillar gives way, the entire structure collapses and you do not achieve your goal. Let's take two very common situations to see exactly how this happens. Let's talk about a high paying corporate job. Maybe you took a high paying corporate job just for the paycheck, which is, of course, the prayojanam. That's the why. You have the right degree and skills to handle the job, so you are definitely the adhikari. That's you have satisfied the who. You know the company's operating procedures in and out. You have already cracked the code, so the sambandham, the how, is also logged in. But here is the catch. You absolutely hated the daily tasks, the vishayam, the what, because that one pillar was rotten, the other three couldn't save you. And then what happens? You burn out. You are not happy with your job. The goal of a fulfilling, sustainable career fails entirely. Maybe slowly, but fails. Now, let's look at another situation. A very common fitness goal. You know exactly what health and nutrition are, which is you know the Vishayam, which is the what, and you desperately want the result of getting strong and maybe looking good. That's the Prayojanam, that's the why. Or maybe you bought an expensive gym membership and also downloaded a complex workout plan. That's the how of it. You cracked the process, you cracked the how of it, and hence the sambandham is taken care of. But when the gym membership started, you are neck deep into work and other petty engagements all through the week. You didn't have the baseline discipline to actually show up to the gym every day. You weren't the adhikari. You are not the qualified student for that particular skill at that stage. Because you lacked the required mindset, the expensive plan, the clear fitness plan, and the goal of becoming physically strong were completely useless. The fitness endeavor completely failed. You must put prior efforts in becoming the adhikari, maybe by maintaining time discipline of your other engagements or scheduling a specific time slot for your fitness and sticking to it effortlessly. When this faulty pillar is repaired and realigned, that's when the synergy of all the four pillars of pursuit kicks in. You will be the champion then. When these four pillars are not aligned, we suffer a setback in our pursuit. We get confused, our energy drains. But when a project, a science, or a life path perfectly defines its what, its who, its why, and its how, the journey becomes a flawless, inevitable progression towards success. So, with this, the compound wall is built. We now understand the universal standard required to pursue any science. Today, we kept it general. We just looked at how these four pillars govern ordinary science. But what happens when we take this incredibly rigorous scientific framework and point it not at medicine and not at business, but at the absolute nature of reality itself? What happens when we drop the Anubandha Chatushtayam onto our very own mind? This is where we are going deeper into the Vedantic principles in a perfectly scientific approach. In our next episode, we are going to link these four pillars of pursuit directly to the science of Vedanta. We'll introduce four powerful new terms which the spiritual masters have used: Pramata, Pramanam, Prameyam, and Pramiti, which correspond exactly to the who, the how, the what, and the why of exploring the ultimate reality of life. But until then, just take a look at your daily life. Look at the goals you are currently pursuing. Have you clearly defined the what, the who, the why, and the how? Are your four pillars of pursuit standing strong? Are your four pillars of pursuit in perfect balance, supporting each other? Think about it.